Hi everybody, Morgana Galaxia here, and thank you so much for visiting my channel. I really appreciate your views. Let's get to some tarot reading today. I had a viewer ask me about Rudy Giuliani, and I've been thinking a lot about this guy too. He suddenly reappeared out of nowhere after being kind of under the radar for a while, ever since his two associates, Lev Parnas and the other guy, got arrested and busted for being Ukrainian agents. There was a big thing. Next thing you know, you don't see Rudy Giuliani anymore after seeing him all over the news for a while. So I want to take a look at Rudy Giuliani. So I guess what happened is the Treasury Department released a report saying that Andrei Derkach, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, was a Russian agent, Ukrainian, via Ukraine. So he's an active Russian agent, and he's had dealings with Giuliani for a really long time. And so, of course, Giuliani's out there going like, who? Who's that? I don't know him. What? Yeah. It just does not bode well for Giuliani. It's basically looking like he's one of the connectors between Trump and Russia, right? This is one of the strings. Giuliani's one of the strings. He's had a long career in public service, a prosecutor with Southern District of New York, mayor of New York City. He was the mayor, during 9/11, and a lot of people thought he did a great job handling that situation. I don't agree with that. I don't think he did a great job. He was kind of out there screaming 9/11 for God, years after that. Like that's all he could say about anything. That was his, ace in the hole. And so he just kept playing that card over and over and over. He used it to death, to the point where I was sick of it. It was disingenuous, just wasn't genuine. So that was during 9/11. That was a whole long time ago. Now he's the president's lawyer. He's dealing with shady people in Ukraine and Russia. Things are getting tied to him. He appears, he disappears. Anyways, yeah, it's about time we take a look at what the cards have to say about Mr. Rudy Giuliani. So, Rudy Giuliani, Spirit, Rudy Giuliani. What is he up to? What is he up to? What is he up to? This card just keeps flying out of the deck. King of Pentacles. Looks like maybe Mr. Trump, huh? Rudy Giuliani, what is he up to? I'm just getting this sense of just a maze, a maze of contacts, relationships, strings. I'm definitely not getting a sense of not knowing or being surprised or, being confused. Getting in there, it's like, it's a maze. It's a maze of connections, a maze of people, a maze of strings, a maze. It's just the sense I'm getting. But let's take a look here. Rudy Giuliani. Let's see what the cards have to say. Interesting. All right. So, Rudy Giuliani, right off the bat, we have the card of strength. So this tells me that Rudy feels he has a sense of strength. I don't think that's a huge surprise. Rudy's a very brash, bigger than life, kind of mafioso type character, you know, he's got a will, he's got an ego, he has some strength to him. He does have some strength to him. That's what's made him such a formidable person all these decades. He's seeing that as one of his core strengths. That's one of his core strengths is that. And what's crossing him with the Queen of Wands, at this time I'm thinking what's crossing him with that card is those people in power who are taking a look. You know, there's people in power who, let's say on the Democratic side, Pelosi and Schumer and Schiff, and those who have the ability to investigate, to review, to look at situations, to kind of, they have the power to really take a look at what's going on with Giuliani. And these are people who hold certain morals and values. So I think initially this is what's crossing Giuliani. He is being watched. He is being watched. He's not operating in a vacuum. What's overriding the situation, what's known, is the Three of Wands. Three of Wands. This is Giuliani looking overseas. You know, his back is to us. He's not facing the U.S. He's not facing Americans. You know, his back is to us. He's looking elsewhere. He's looking across the waters overseas. That's where his interest lies. With these Three of Wands here, he's got a plan. So he's got a plan and he's in the process now of beginning to act it out. That's that three. You know, he had his idea. He's done some basic, maybe some research, getting some info together. And number three is that reaching out to put those plans in motion. He's looking out overseas, ready to put some plans in motion. What is foundational to this reading is the Five of Wands. That's a lot of fighting. So there's a lot of different entities attached here that are not all on board with the same agenda. So there's a lot of infighting, a lot of partisanship, a lot of just disagreement and combat going on here, which is foundational. So that could be from any number of sources. I mean, I certainly hope that includes, you know, the good guys in, you know, the government, but this could be also maybe Ukrainians or Russians or other agents or people who have conflicting agendas. The energy he just passed through with the Knight of Wands was, this is some change took place. Some really pretty important activity recently took place. So, you know, as far as that treasury, you know, this could be the Treasury report that came out about that Andre Derkach. It could be travel. There's some, you know, he just got done with some activity. So yes, this report coming out kind of instigated this question about Russian agents' connection with Giuliani, right? So that news report, you know, that the Treasury report and then the news reports regarding that and just the whole situation being out in the news, this is all action that he just recently came through. Where he's going with the Five of Swords is abuse of power. But, you know, with this card, I so often get this feeling of just a battle that is so disgraceful that even the combatants throw down their sword in disgust. That's often the feeling I get with this card. So I think some of the key players in this situation at some point are going to be throwing down their swords in disgust, and we might be hearing some truths from them. We might be hearing some of those stories, hearing from some of those people that just want to, turn their backs on Giuliani, or basically report on the situation, gives the truth, see what's going on there. But essentially, we're looking at an abuse of power. So that's what we're going to be going into. How does Giuliani see himself? This is pretty funny. The Temperance card. So the Temperance is moderation, balance, being careful and cautious. And this indicates to me that Giuliani thinks he is being that. He thinks that he's being careful, he's being cautious, he's, going in moderation, he's not being extreme. And maybe for Giuliani, that's the case, but his personality is so outsized. He's got no filter. I mean, you could tell when you listen to interviews of this guy that he's very much like Trump in that he's a stream of consciousness kind of speaker. He doesn't have control of himself. So him thinking he does would be folly. But at this point, I think he's taking the cautious road. Right now he's in denial, right? I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything about this situation. He's trying to balance his ship with lies. His surroundings, the influence of surroundings is the Four of Pentacles. So this is definitely money. Somebody's sitting on some money. Somebody's holding on to some money. Somebody's thinking about some money. This is an outside influence. So, these are going to be his handlers or those people who are handling the agent. There's money involved in this. There's often some insecurity around money tied in with this card. So obviously, any financial shenanigans that are going on here, they're going to want to hide that. They're going to want to protect that, keep that secret. That's an insecurity, having any financial transactions related around this issue being exposed. So very insecure about information about money being out. But again, that's what it's about. It's foundational. They're holding on to it. They're thinking about it. That's the seat of his environmental influence. Hopes and fears is the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man. So, the Hanged Man means that Giuliani, I'm going to say maybe this is a hope for him. That Giuliani is hoping that the situation is going to stall out, that it's going to be put on hold, that people are going to be thinking about it maybe in a different way, or whatever consequences he's fearing will get sidetracked, paused. Sorry, there's something on my lip here. But I think he's hoping for a reprieve, or almost like people will just kind of forget about it. This is his hope, the Hangman, that things will just kind of stop and maybe give him a chance to reset. The outcome with the Two of Cups. So this is a deal. This is a commitment or connection with somebody. Some kind of deal looks to be made here. Some kind of deal is looking to be made. I just want to pull a clarifier on that to see who is going to be making a deal here. Spirit, can you tell me a little bit about this deal? Is this a deal between Giuliani and Trump, Giuliani and Treasury, between Durkach and the Dems, or SDNY, or who's this deal between? Can you please give me some insight here? Let's take a look if anything comes up. I'm going to clarify here. This Two of Cups. Nine of Wands. Okay. Well, what this is telling me is that after some pretty strenuous hard work, we're going to get the truth. We're going to get the truth. So my initial thinking, you know, with these robes here, I'm looking at maybe someone in Congress. You know, I just see with that blue, the Democrats is very, you know, it's elegant. That's sort of someone who has a high status, making a deal with someone with some other kind of uniform, maybe from another land. I think there's going to be some kind of communication here. There's going to be a deal made after some troubles. You know, it's not going to be an easy work. We're going to get some truth out of it. That's the Sword of Truth right there. So that is what I'm getting on Giuliani today. That's what I'm getting. And just a sort of recap, you know, it looks like he feels like he's coming from a strong position. You know, he's known for his strength. He's used to have a decent reputation, but the law is crossing him right now. Those in power who are reviewing, that's his challenge. That's his challenge. People in power, people enforcing the law. This night brought us all this news, you know, this report and this information about this Russian agent. And there is a vicious, vicious battle coming up for Giuliani regarding this one. So vicious, again, that some of those involved may just throw down their swords in disgust and start talking to us. You know, overriding it again, he's looking overseas. He's got a plan. He's ready to put something in place, but he's looking across the sea to do it. So the end result being a deal, I think we're going to obviously have to look at this again. Look at this again and to see the source of that deal. You know, maybe let me just pull a couple cards on that. So we'll have this be the signifier. This deal card. This deal card when it comes to Giuliani. Let me do a little something, something with this real quick. Spirit, show me the source of this deal. The outcome for Rudy Giuliani is going to be a deal of some kind. Giuliani. This deal. Show me this deal, Spirit. This card's jumping out. Card's jumping out. Legacy money. So asking for some clarifiers for this Two of Cups. Who's this deal made? And, you know, it's being made by two different types of entities. To me, I'm seeing the United States here. This, let's call this Ukraine or Russia. There's some legacy money, big money, family money involved here. Trump organization type money involved here. But we've got that Sword of Truth turned up again. The Sword of Truth is coming out. We're going to know. We're going to know the situation there. We've got the Moon, which is lies and deception. Lies and deception and a lot of infighting, partisanship, arguing, those different agendas. So I think, you know, what this is saying is that the situation that's happening around this Russian agent, there's a lot of different agendas. They're fighting against each other. And because of that vulnerability, the sword of truth is going to be coming out. The sword of truth is coming out. And when you're dealing with this legacy family money right after the deal, so that's telling me there's a deal with the Trump organization or Trump money. Trump is financially contributing to this. So that's at least one half of this deal right here. That's one half of this deal. So this has to do with, Trump trying to get Ukraine to lie and say that Ukraine, interfered in our election instead of Russia, right? That whole situation's harken back to that. This money paid for this deal, but truth's coming out. Truth's coming out. Okay, well, I'll definitely take a look at Giuliani again. I definitely get a sense that he is shady and has been for a really long time. And, I feel like at some point we're going to have to ask, is Giuliani the agent? Has he been recruited? Is he the agent? But we'll ask that another day. What I want to move to is Texas. Texas, the Lone Star State, because they're red, they're a red state, a pretty strong Republican state. But, they go blue, they want to lean towards the blue side sometimes. They got a lot of people moving into the state from other places. A lot. It's not as red leaning as it used to be. It's definitely, starting to lean a little on the blue side. And so that's a big question. They're a swing state. And are they going to stay red for Trump, or are they going to go blue for Biden? And I'm just really curious about that, because I know there's a lot of swing states out there, but Texas is one of the big ones. They've got the oil industry. George W. Bush was big for Texas. They've just always been really red, and I just think it would be a gas if they went blue and they voted for Biden, and I think that would be awesome. And I want to take a look if Texas can go blue. Is Texas going to go blue? Is Texas going to go blue? Let's just take a quick look at that. Texas gonna go blue, Spirit. All right, let's take a look at what it says. Well, right now, so the Knight of Pentacles is the first card that's coming up that's representing this situation. So this is telling me that they're patiently, faithfully pursuing financial opportunities. This is about money. This is an offer on the way. So this Knight is bringing a gift, a gift of either money directly or some sort of resource that will help their state. So, like everyone else, I'm sure they're struggling financially. They're just looking for relief. And this is indicating that some financial relief is on the way. What's challenging the situation, which is, will Texas turn blue, is the Eight of Wands. There's a lot of different issues that are flying towards Texas right now. So, I think that this is people in Texas who are Republicans, who are red, really having to deal with a lot of different problems, questions, accusations to them directly, but to the Republicans, like, okay, there's the obvious, right? Coronavirus, climate change, weather, financial issues, but, staying a red state, you're going to have to explain these arrows of, do you support racism? Do you not support equal justice under law? Do you want to be homophobic, misogynistic? Do you believe in financial corruption? Do you not care if foreign countries alter our election? Do you not care if your president doesn't care about the Constitution? Right? There's a lot of things that Republicans who want to support this president have to answer for. There's a lot there, and I can imagine that must get really tiring. Can you imagine being a Republican, say you're in a conversation and someone's like, well, Trump was accused of rape. How do you wrap your head around that? Hey, Trump might be laundering money from Russia. Trump asked China to interfere in our elections, and his own, cabinet member told us that. Trump is completely disrespecting the military. How do you wrap your head around that? Boy, those are hard questions, aren't they? Those are really difficult. That is a huge impetus maybe for the shift that they could be going through. The outcome card is the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, is a leader who's fair, hardworking, disciplined, successful, all these good values. So what this is telling me is that if Texas wants this type of support, then they're going to have to come to terms with all these questions and turn towards the law, turn towards faithful leadership, turn towards honesty and integrity. That, I think, is really what it comes down to. And I guess what I'm kind of feeling is, if Texas does turn blue, it's not going to be because everyone's turning into a Democrat, or, Democrats are making a huge foray into local politics or any grassroots or anything like that. If Texas goes blue, it's going to be because they're absolutely disgusted with the current leadership and what's coming out of Washington, and they simply must look to another leader. They simply have to look to another leader if they want their needs met. I think that's really what it comes down to. They might very well, if they go for Biden, they might very well go Republican for the next president after that. But when it comes to this administration, I think it's just the immorality and the corruption and everything that this administration stands for is going to turn Texas away, right? So they're moving away from Republicans versus towards Democrats. That's what this reading is telling me right here. So, I'm curious to see everyone going to be watching on Election Day with all of you. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating. Let's see. Another thing, I got a little bit of time left today. I want to talk about Trump's campaign finances. What's going on there, right? Let's do a what the F on that one. That's a spread I like to use for what the F situations. What's going on? So he's supposed to be flush with money. He's super, super rich. All those donors, everybody loves him. Nobody can raise as much money as he can raise, right? And yet he's starting to go broke. And it could be maybe his donors are pulling out. Or it could be maybe somebody siphoning some money. Or it just could be, ineptitude. Is it theft? Not knows, right? But it is very curious that he's losing an incredible amount of money. We're talking millions upon millions upon millions, right? Not just a few 100,000. What's going going on with Trump's campaign finances? This 2020 campaign spirit, can you show me Trump's campaign finances? Where's that money going? Where is the money going? Where has the money disappeared? Trump's campaign money, where is it going? All right, let's take a look. Let me just put on these glasses. Okay. What the actual fudge? Question mark, exclamation point. All right, where's Trump's money going? So what is the situation? So right here we're looking at very close ties. This is celebration. This is joy. These are three women holding up their chalices in celebration and joy. So these are Trump supporters. These are Trump's donors. They've got full cups, and they are in celebration and support, trying to support this candidate to his victory. So I feel that he's got a lot of financial support. There's still a lot of money coming in from donors. There are still people who think that he can succeed, or perhaps at least get done what these people want to have done, the reason they're donating to him. So they're envisioning success. You know, hopefully you wouldn't think people give their money away to someone they think is going to lose, right? So this is a good faith financial donations to Trump. That's what I'm seeing here. That's the situation. People are donating to him in good faith. They're hoping he's going to win. What's actually true about the situation with the Three of Wands is this person is looking overseas. These three wands are a business deal, about to take action on some business, looking overseas. So that, that this is indicating that, where's this money going? Start looking overseas at some business deals. This is the fudge card. What is wrong? What is wrong about the situation? This is the High Priestess. The High Priestess is the keeper of secrets. She knows what's going on in the dark, behind closed doors. She knows the good and she knows the bad, and she holds the secrets. So whatever's going on with this money is not on the up and up. This is not something that is out there for everyone to see. This is being shrouded in secrecy. There's secrets being kept here to the detriment of the issue, which is, where is the campaign money? The question mark, where do we need to look for more answers? 9 of Cups. This is the wish fulfillment card. Sometimes it's known as the greedy merchant card. What I'm seeing here, the feeling I'm getting here, let's put this one kind of nearby. I'm getting a sense of Russian oligarchs with this. Your big, fat, rich dude sitting on his throne with all his wealth, that smug, uber wealthy kind of merchant, but with this costume and just the feel of this card. Yeah, I'm getting an oligarch sense here. This is not on the up and up, it just greedily gained. And it's because of this overseas. Look at those yellow skies, right? It's because of this looking overseas, a deal going overseas. There's some money going overseas. And we've got secrecy where we need to look at some of these wealthy people. So whether maybe it is donors, maybe some of those donors aren't US, we need to follow the money, follow the money. And this is an exclamation point. What action needs to be taken about this? 10 of Pentacles. This is family money, inheritance. Often I think of this as Trump organization money. So what action needs to be taken? Just what this is telling us. Follow the money. Follow the big fat greedy merchant. Trump organization money. So again, let me just say this is for entertainment purposes. All right. I would wonder if some of that money is being funneled overseas to pay back maybe certain wealthy individuals for whatever they may have provided to Mr. Trump to benefit him. In other words, well, not other words, I guess it makes me think of this. You know, reading Mary Trump's book, we learn a lot about how Trump was financed by his father his whole life. Through bankruptcy after bankruptcy after bankruptcy, his father was his donor. His father was his financial support. Once his father passed, Trump turned to the big banks. And the big banks, Mary, explains to us, kept him on an allowance of several $100,000 a month just to help get him through, because, they always felt that if they would just keep pumping money into him, that eventually he would make good on the debt that he already held to those banks. As we all know, eventually all those banks stopped doing business with Trump until all that was left was Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is currently, or is now, the last bank that would deal with Trump financially. And now I'm sure that has stopped because they're being investigated and they've released Trump's taxes. And, that's a whole other story, right? So where is Trump getting his money now? Because we know he must always be funded by a third party. He doesn't make his own money. He's not a good businessman. Everything he does turns into bankruptcy, right? So who is funding him now? Who's funding him now? That appears to be Ukrainian or Russian money. Putin, oligarchs, Russian agents, through Giuliani, through Deutsche Bank, through who knows what. So that is how I see it. That's how I'm interpreting the cards today. I'll definitely hit some of these issues again, but I think I'm going to leave it there for today. So thank you again for visiting my channel. I appreciate you being here. If you want to come back and don't want to miss any future videos, you can subscribe and click the bell, and you can be reminded or notified when I put something out. Otherwise, thank you for being here. Stay safe out there and have a great day. All right, take care.